Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It's Marie with Swipe in the City, here with Michelle.
In the house. Today we're recording separately from Studio A and Studio B because Marie is getting ready to go on her family vacation.
Whoop, whoop. And we're back in stage 4 in Austin. So, yeah.
I mean,
Yay!
I wasn't going to drop that bomb, but we're
I
just
mean,
we're just being a little extra cautious today.
yeah, everything is fine.
Marie, how are you? How are you feeling about your family vacay coming up?
I'm excited for Vegas. I found out that not only is there a fitness facility, but I can do dolphin yoga for $75 for an hour.
Excuse me. You can do yoga with dolphins.
Well, you're not like swimming with them, but they're swimming behind you. And you do yoga. Like it's kind of like when you're in an aquarium.
Yeah, I want to be swimming with the dolphins if we're going to do dolphin yoga. But I love
I've
this.
done that.
Are you going to do it?
Probably because I won that $50 yesterday at work, and that's most of it. So I'm like, well, sure, Max can pay for my my boss can pay for my dolphin yoga. Uh,
I can't think of a better way to pay well, go on.
I mean, yeah, I probably will, but to your point, I definitely would rather swim with dolphins. I did that a couple of years ago, though. That was like the number one thing on my bucket list. So I'm stoked. A little anxious about going to Chicago just because it's going to be a packed schedule, but it'll also be pretty fun. What about you? You're getting ready for Maui soon.
Yeah, I need to stop eating cake. I'm like, but it's I mean, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm pretty pumped. The next few weeks are super crazy for me. I've got one of my coworkers is in town, so I'm gonna meet up with them later today. Come here, Blue. Just get up. And
Classic.
just staring at me. And then I'm in the middle of like a birthday marathon where I've got literally every weekend from last night until I leave for Maui. I've got birthday events. And then, yeah, I'm going to go see my mom for over a week. And I'm actually going to take the full time off of work, which makes me want to vomit because that's very stressful. But
You're
I've had
gonna be really happy you did.
yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna have to like mute email and stuff because I get really like I'm like, oh, I'll just check it. But I haven't taken I haven't taken a full or more than like 2 days off in probably 3 years. So
Yeah,
it's
you know what I'm gonna
necessary.
do? I'm gonna text your mother and I'm going to say, Daniela Hannah, do not let Michelle work, check email, talk to her boss, go on Slack, nothing unless one of her clients is on fire, and even then, don't let her do it. And
She will love that.
if she does, we need to come up with a punishment.
She'll she'll love that because she'll be like, Michelle, Marie said, it's not me.
Exactly.
Don't get mad at me.
And I
Um,
100% will because my mom always does that, like whenever she's trying to take time off. And my brother, my stepdad, and I go on her about it.
I love it. On that note, it's not just us in the virtual studio today. Do you want to do the pleasure of introing our guest?
Sure, we have Haydon in the house. Welcome, Haydon. And I will
Hello.
let Michelle intro our topic. But Haydon, you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Um, yeah, I'm Haydon. I am from Austin, born and raised. I'm an engineer. I work at a company down the road, and I'm friends with Michelle and Marie. That's my whole life. In a nutshell.
Well,
And I'm also very tired.
that's not your whole life. One of my favorite things about you is that you foster dogs for Austin Pets Alive, which is really awesome. So you take them in, you give them a temporary home, you market them. And so I just want to thank you for that. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I like it. It's fun for me too. So I don't really consider it too much of a chore. They
Also,
do
for
just
go ahead.
they do occasionally destroy a lot of my stuff. So like that happens, but it's still fun.
Also, for the listeners, if you're comfortable sharing, what is your relationship status? Are you single? Are you dating? Are you in a relationship? Are you married?
I am single at the moment, so
Oh,
just
he's got great hair too, ladies.
Slide in.
for now. It's probably only lasting like another couple days, and then back to short hair and normal. This is just the COVID what
Wait,
jag? What do we
short,
call
you're
it?
gonna cut it all off? I thought when you said you were gonna get a haircut, you were just gonna get a little trim.
Well, I'm gonna get a mullet first because I've
Oh
always wanted to
no.
have like a really ridiculous one, and then probably have that for like a week, and then back to like a more reasonable haircut.
I don't know if I can support the mullet as your friend,
No,
but
no
you
one
do need a
does.
friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Hayden, thank you for being here. He's going to be our resident expert on today's topic.
Thank you. That's a really great plug for me and my dating life.
And yeah, we're like, ladies, he's single because he's our resident expert on friends with benefits.
So for anybody listening who might not know what friends with benefits means, we got a couple definitions here from Urban Dictionary. The shorter one is two close friends who think it would be fun to have sex with each other again and again until one falls in love and gets their heart broken when the other doesn't want a relationship. That's kind of a downer.
Yeah, I feel like that makes it more negative than it can be. When I think about the definition for it, I feel like you brought this up, like, because there's friends with benefits and then there's someone you exclusively just like hook up with. And I do think they're different because like the guy or girl that you're texting at like 2 a.m. when the bar closes and y'all meet up, hang out, and then go your separate ways is different than having someone that you actually like hang out with or is in your friend group and you have like a casual thing with.
Go to Buzzmill.
Yeah.
Lazarus.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they just derived that definition from watching like 30 rom-coms back to back, and then it's like, this is how it always happens. But then in the end, one of them changes their heart, and then they fall in love for real this time, and blah blah blah.
No, that's so funny because you're so right. In every fucking rom-com, it's like, oh, but someone's in love with the other person. Like two adults. Why am I saying it that way? Two adults can't just have like a physical interaction. There must be love involved. Someone must be pining for the other. I feel like that's how rom-coms make it.
I mean, there literally is one. It's what Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake called Friends with Benefits. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's definitely exactly that situation. Have you seen it?
I feel like I have. I don't really remember it, but I'm obsessed with Mila Kunis, so I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah, so in terms of defining it, like Haydon, what do you think the difference is or between like a friend with benefits versus someone you're just hooking up with?
I don't know. I feel like friends with benefits, it's like it's a very difficult line to walk because I feel like if you actually try and do friends with benefits instead of like fuck buddies, it's like you have to try and put as much time between like sex as possible. Like, because if you're just like, because I feel like if you go and like hang out with someone like 3 or 4 times and then every once in a while hook up, then you can actually be friends with benefits because I feel like the more sex comes into the mix, the more it gets complicated to actually being friends with benefits.
Well, and there's also like, again, we're making fun of rom-coms, but there's also one of those situations where it's like, okay, you're hooking up and hanging out, like, let's even say even like once or twice a week, which is, yeah.
That is kind of a lot.
And but then you get to a point where it's like, okay, we have obviously like a non-sexual relationship. We're friends. We have this sexual relationship. It's like, where does that just become that you're dating? Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's kind of what you're talking about, right? Because it's like, if you're hanging out, doing stuff, all that, and then you're also hooking up like frequently, you're saying that if you do it too frequently, you're basically walking that fine line between just being like together.
Yeah.
Or developing
then,
feelings.
Yeah, because then it's like with friends with benefits, I feel like there's two ways it goes where it's like you either start to like have more and more of like a sexual relationship and it moves into like dating, or you do more and more friend stuff and just like slowly kind of phase out the sexual component of it. Because I've had that happen before where like someone who I was friends with benefit with just kind of, we were just like, just became friends after a while. And so I think that's also a way that it can go.
Yeah, when I was looking at some of the rules of being friends with benefits, it's kind of funny to think of it. Like you can tell these articles were written for and or by women because women want to have rules for everything. Um, and like they need that in order to like compartmentalize these two different things. Whereas I feel like guys are just like, oh, whatever, like she's this or she's that. But like the rules that I was looking at were like, okay, no sleepovers, and you have to be okay with the fact that that person is more than likely, most likely, dating other people, and you should be too.
I agree with you. I think that, at least for me personally, I feel like we have to label and categorize things. Just like that's how my brain works. I feel like I have to be very transparent with everything, and I'm like, this is what we're doing. This is the boundaries. These are the boundaries. Whereas, like, I feel like on the flip side, at least the guys I interact with are like, okay, well, we don't need to like discuss this. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, no, it's not a big deal. That's why I'm categorizing it as not a big deal. And they're like, you're psycho.
Hayden's face right now.
No, because like no, that's like I'm actually with Michelle on this because that's what I do. Because as the resident friends with benefits expert here, oh, I hate that. But no, I think like if you don't like set up boundaries, it's really easy, especially if you do things like I've been with people who are like they're like I'm cool with like having friends with benefits, being casual, not dating, whatever, but I want you to like stay the night because I don't like the idea of someone just hook up and then leaves. Like even if I know it's like just a casual thing, I just don't want like to feel like I'm being used in just like you get there, hook up and bounce. Like so sometimes you do have to like really like lay it out if you wanna not. The thing is it's real easy to hurt people's feelings in that situation. So you gotta be very, very cautious if you want to ethically do friends with benefits.
Ethically. So what kinds of rules do you think are necessary? Like honestly, some of these articles are a little ridiculous. So
I'm I feel like for me, I just have to avoid doing like boyfriendy things because I feel like that's just kind of being like a cock tease for a relationship. Like I can't cook for them or like do something like romantic gestures or whatever.
gifts.
Like yeah, gifts like it caps out at like you can bring like a bottle of wine and some takeout over, but like you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna cook us both dinner and we'll watch a movie and do all this, and then it's like, then when you're like, all right, I'm leaving, and then they're like, oh well, bye, I guess, fine, whatever.
I love that you mentioned cooking because what came to mind for me is like it's so specific, but it's like, okay, y'all are drinking, but you end up having a sleepover because you're both drunk and you pass out or whatever. And then the next morning, like I feel like a friends with benefits, you can like go get breakfast tacos or like go grab like brunch or whatever because you're both hungry. But like if someone were to cook for me in the morning, I'd be like, whoa, sir. Like I did not consent to this relationship shit. No, but I love that you mentioned that because that is like a small thing that if you're not used to friends with them, if you're not a veteran in this space, like, I mean, not me. I'm not sober. What is it? Celibate.
Sober. Not sober, but celibate. Is that your?
Oh Lord.
That's the lie I'm telling myself this morning. No, but I think that's like such a good point. Like gifts for sure. Like I feel like gifts, unless it's like something really hilarious and random, like
a $5 tchotchke.
Or you're like, oh my God, these are condoms with some like weird celebrity's face on them or something.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Also, by the way, this is just kind of a slight sidebar, but I found out there's a website where you can get personalized condoms. And so it's my new favorite gag gift, which is that I got my friend 100 condoms with a really embarrassing picture of him from like middle school on them. And it was like him at like 13, like this with like aviators. And then I used Snapchat to write "wrap it before you tap it, bro." And then gave him like literally a garbage bag full of them.
This might be my favorite moment ever. This is hilarious.
By them?
What's the website? I'm gonna reach out.
I need to find it again because I was just like went on Google because we did like a white elephant and I got like one of my best friends and I was like personalized condoms ? Into Google and then sure enough there's a website that does it. And it wasn't that much. I think it was like
there's a site called Custom Condoms. I'm fucking dead. Can we get Swipe in the City condoms, Marie?
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
100% yes.
That'll be our first swag item. Fuck a t-shirt. Custom condoms. We've been
talking about swag for over a year and we finally do it and it's condoms. Your mom will be thrilled.
I mean, honestly, it would be a business write-off, so I'm here for it.
Maybe you could put that on the condoms. Your mom will be thrilled.
Stop.
I love that.
Y'all, they sell condom carrying cases.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you're not supposed to keep them in your wallet, so.
I've seen them give. I think I've given those out. I've been to like, I think it was in like Padre or somewhere like that, and they had them. They were like Mardi Gras beads with like a condom as like a pendant with like a case for condoms.
Oh, that is perfect for Mardi Gras. Oh my gosh. This is such a rabbit hole, but I'm here for it.
I mean, it's in line though, right? Because friends with benefits, you're probably or likely hooking up with multiple people. So safe sex.
That was one of the rules I saw that made sense was like you need to practice safe sex. Which I mean, honestly, we should be doing regardless. So wrap it up, y'all.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Wrap it before you tap it, bro.
We're just gonna call the episode "Wrap It Before You Tap It," and people are gonna have a fucking meltdown. Sponsored by Custom Condoms. I'm dead. God. Condom keychains. Oh, y'all. Okay. I'll show you guys later. I'm dying. We need to move on.
Yeah.
We
got that. My slight sidebar turned into an entire conversation.
This is gonna turn into like a safe sex episode instead of friends with benefits, but. Here's a question though, because I'm not sure, so Psychology Today lists a rule as don't mix your social circles.
So that, again, if you're friends with benefits versus a fuck buddy is someone who doesn't come out, doesn't meet your friends, isn't in your circle. Whereas I feel like a friend with benefits is someone who is either already in your social circle. Mm-hmm. or hangs out and it's just not it's not a big deal. But I think that is one of the differences between a friends with benefits and a fuck buddy. Like a fuck buddy is like, I love how I'm about to give it an actual example. It's fine. I'm celibate, remember?
Yep.
But like I'll reference someone in particular to you, Marie, when we're having a conversation, and it's someone that you've literally never met, right? Because they don't come out. Or they're, in the past have been other people where it's like, we're hanging out at the pool, it's not a big deal, whatever. So
Over at 2 a.m.
maybe they're still over from the night before, maybe they just showed up. No one knows.
Who knows?
What do you think about that, Haydon? Do you ever have friends with benefits that are or aren't in your social circle?
I don't know. I mean, I get the problem is like a lot of my social circles are like very male dominant. So I don't really get like, because I do like golf, BMX, skating, and then I'm an engineer. So at work, there's only like a couple of women there. So it's like, it's not like I'm in like a sales office where it's a huge mix or like things like that. Like it's like I have very kind of my dating life kind of stays separate from that. But to the point of like kind of separating, I'm like, I know with some of my friends, I haven't done this, but with my two friends who are roommates, they have like code names for the girls where it's like there's like, he'll just be like, oh, are you going with, mom 4 tonight? And it was like, oh, she's a mother of 4. But they were like, this is a whole sidebar. We can edit this out. But I'm just saying it's kind of like,
this is not getting edited out.
Okay, cool. But it's like this casual thing where it's like, it don't really even like bring them up. It's just sort of like they get nicknames, and then that's sort of like a casual like, oh, I'm going to Bear's house tonight or whatever. You just kind of have like a subtle thing that's less they're sort of out of the group to that degree almost.
Well, in doing that too, you're making it less personal, right? Like if you're like, hey, I'm going to Michelle's, that is slightly more personal than being like, yeah, I'm going to Lennox Girls, right? Like it does. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. And I think too, with like you mentioned earlier, there could be this like really fine line. And so those little things, like again, a nickname, the timing, how often you reach out, whatever. Yeah. One thing I think about too with like friends with benefits, but not just dating someone, is like obligation to be responsive. Mm-hmm. So again, not me ever, celibate, sober, living my healthy life. I was at the gym for 3 hours this morning, clearly. But when I do have like that type of situation, like a hookup buddy or friends with benefits or whatever, I might reach out on a Friday at, let's say, like 1:30, bars closing, and they may or may not respond. And that's fine. And then they might reach out later, another day, whatever, and I may or may not respond. Whereas like, and that's again, normal, but I feel like when you're dating someone, you have that expectation or obligation to be more responsive and to communicate at a different level.
Yeah, well, and isn't that too kind of playing into like the difference of like a fuck buddy? Because I mean, there is a little bit, in my opinion, if you're like friends with benefits, you may text each other at a normal, appropriate hour. That's just something friendly. Like,
yeah,
both like The Office, and you, I don't know, rewatch an episode and you're like, oh my God, remember that one time? I don't even know the names, the characters, so that was a horrible reference. But
Steve, just do Harry Potter. Stick to something you know.
Yeah. I'll stick with what I know. I rewatched Harry Potter. Remember that one time, like Dumbledore gave Harry this great advice, like that, like to me, I think that's appropriate versus like if it's just a fuck buddy. It's like you said. It's like okay, I'm gonna text you when I want you, and like that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like the communication is different for sure. Shoot, I had a thought, but I lost it.
I do think that like with the friends with benefits things, you can be like the communication's better, but I do think you should like I feel like you almost have to selectively turn them down to where it's like because if you're anytime they ask you're there, then it starts to feel like a relationship. But if you're like the other day, you know, someone who I was, you know, friends with benefits was like asking if I wanted to come over, but my friends had already invited me to go like grab drinks. So I was like, not tonight, another time, and just kind of left it at that. And like, you know, I think you do have to kind of make sure not to be super available because then you do the same thing where you start to go from friends with benefits to boyfriend, girlfriend. If you're always like at their beck and call, you kind of got to be just a little bit out of reach.
And that's kind of why it's fun.
Unless you're like really wanting someone to come over and they're not responding, you're like, fuck you. Okay, I have a question. Do y'all think you can go from a very strict, let's not even say friends with benefits, let's say like just a pure fuck buddy. Do you think you can go from fuck buddy pure? Well, not pure. Also, I've already designed our custom condoms, by the way. I'm about to order them. Sorry, we could have them for the event.
Oh, perfect.
Your mom will love it.
So yeah, Danielle and Hannah. Do you think you can go from strictly fuck buddy to a relationship? Like obviously if both parties are interested.
Yeah, I think so, but it's fuck buddy's a little bit harder to come back from. Like if you're a straight booty call, like I feel like that is a little bit more of a jump than like, friends with benefits. Like if y'all go like and occasionally go to the bar and grab drinks and stuff, but it's like real casual, like that's pretty easy step. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever done that. Like someone who is like a 2 a.m. kind of person to like dating them. But like friends with benefits for sure.
So the rom-coms can be real.
Oh, for sure. Rom-coms do exist.
Gives people hope.
But in the rom-coms, there's always this like long history, and it's never like we met at Jackalope and we were fucking for a while, and now we're in the rom-coms. It's always like, oh, they were in the same hometown as high school sweethearts, and then reignited or reunited in the city. Like,
see, this is false expectation. Mm-hmm. I like to watch movies that I at least know it's gonna be fake. Like Fast and the Furious, where they drive a car into space. Like, at least I know that's made up. The rom-coms are.
R.I.P. Paul Walker. Yeah, no, that's funny. Okay, so we talked about some guidelines. Do y'all have any other guidelines you would think of for like either strictly a fuck buddy or friends with benefits?
Yeah.
Have you ever been jealous?
Yeah.
Not you, Michelle. Haydon. Well, we're both Scorpios, Michelle. Jealousy is just in our nature. Like,
I get jealous when you go to lunch without me. Like, yeah.
Michelle, we're not friends with benefits. We're friends with podcasts.
Sorry. Repeat your question for our fuck buddy expert here.
Have I been jealous of like what they're doing? Like see them go out or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing them go out or seeing them.
Friends,
I don't
benefiting.
think so. Like I can't think of a time, but I'm also really bad with the whole like jealousy thing where I've had like person that I was with, like dating, get mad at me for not being jealous because I was like, a guy was like, came up and tried to flirt with her and she turned him down. And I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. And she was like, why aren't you like mad about that? And I was like, because you're my girlfriend and I don't give a shit. Like guys can come flirt with you. You're not gonna like. And then she was like, no, you're supposed to be jealous about shit like that. I was like, oh, oops, I guess I messed up. But yeah, I'm like really, really just like casual about it. I don't think if someone likes me, they like me. If they don't, they don't. I don't really care.
I feel like I'm gonna overshare here. I'm gonna get emotional. No, it's fine.
Getting into the deep water.
I don't meet with Gary until Thursday, my new therapist, who I don't think is going to be a long-term partner.
Be careful. I think this is the start of a rom-com.
Yeah.
my new therapist is the therapy equivalent of a friends with benefits. Like it's a short-term thing. Okay, no, something that I've dealt with is, and it's okay, how do I frame it? So it'll be someone I like casually hook up with, whatever. I guess even less than a friends with benefit, more of like a hookup situation. But then they'll kind of like, they'll be like, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship, yada, yada, yada. And as our BFF Jared Fried always says, I'm not looking for a relationship means like, I'm not looking for a relationship with you. Like, I'm not trying to date you, typically. Not always, but like a portion of the time. And so I've had situations where it's someone I'm hooking up with and I'm not into them romantically, but then they end up dating someone or getting into a relationship. And I'm like, well, why didn't they want that with me? Right? Like, why was I just compartmentalized into just this physical aspect? Even though I don't have feelings for them, but there's like this weird, like, honestly, just like this weird, like, insecurity where I'm kind of like questioning myself when that happens sometimes. Cause it does feel like a little shitty. Like, there was this one guy and he's like, oh, yeah, not dating. Literally 2 weeks later, he was in a full blown relationship. And I was like, just say you're not into me. That's fine. I'm a grown ass woman. But I feel like there are aspects like that where I get a little butthurt.
Well, that's kind of also being shady. Like, I feel like I would be a little bit more hurt by that just because they weren't being completely honest.
Right.
Versus if they had said that to your face, like you just said, like, you're a grown ass woman. It doesn't, I mean, it stings a little, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But okay, you mentioned friends with benefits being kind of a more short-term thing. Like, do you think you can have a friends with benefits for like an extended period of time?
I don't think so. I feel like it's got like kind of an expiration date on it where I was saying like you either become friends. It's like there's three ends. It's you either actually date, just become just platonic friends, or you go your separate ways. Like, I don't think there's really like, unless it's like a really, really occasional thing or something like that, where it's like every once in a while you like comment on an Instagram post, pick up a conversation, and then maybe do it. But like, that's like a real, real long shot to keep it going for a long time.
So I think what I think about is like being like having moved from Portland. Hypothetically, I could have a friend with benefits back in Portland. And so, like you said, very sporadic, but like every 6 months when I'm home, we meet up, we hook up, and then that like doesn't go anywhere. I think that can happen long term. But the other thing is that people date and get into relationships, right? So I think friends with benefits typically is, I don't want to say it's a not a band-aid, but I don't want to say it's like a filler either, but in theory, right, most people are at some point dating or in relationships, even if it's like years between. And so I think that's part of the natural flow of things. But I think it can be something that's long term, but like Haydon said, it's only if it's like really sporadic or it's like a really specific case, like visiting home or being in a certain city.
Well, and one would argue I mean, if you're living in two different cities, that's even more on the friend side than the benefit side. Because, I mean, to Hayden's point, I think it's like if you're having pretty regular sex with somebody, somebody's gonna catch feelings more than likely. Like there's real good odds of that. And if that's happening over an extended period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. And yeah, human nature, I do feel like a lot of times people can catch feelings. I had a situation a while ago that I really respected the person for, because we were hanging out, we were hooking up, and it was like he knew he didn't want more, and the amount and way that we were hanging out, and honestly, like where my expectations were going, he like called it at the right point and was like, hey, like down to grab drinks or whatever, but I think we need to stop being physical, because at this point we're at that like turning point of the expectations are going to change soon. And I don't want to like be a dick at that point. I would rather have this conversation. And for like 5 seconds, I was like, oh, butt hurt. And then I was like, oh, he's so right. and we're and like
correct.
And we're friends now. We hang out in a group, whatever. And we were hooking up. Now we're not, and it's fine. Like we called it at the right time to not complicate things. And what's funny is you mentioned jealousy before, and around that time, like right before he ended it, I had seen him like chatting with this girl and felt a little jealous. And I was like, oh no.
Danger, danger.
You do not have the rights to that property, ma'am.
So, Haydon, like, what do you think are some of the best ways when you know you're getting to that tipping point to address the situation?
I mean, the only thing I've ever found that works is just actually talking about it. It's funny that if you say what's on your mind, it tends to work out better than if you just kind of pretend that nothing's wrong. So, communication's key. And then sometimes you'll find this happened to me not that long ago, where I was with someone that kind of did that. And then I was like, hey, kind of feels like it's going a little too far. I'm not ready for that, blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of got upset for a little bit, but then like 2 days later texted me back and was like, hey, actually, like, I'm kind of fine with just doing super casual, like buff buddy thing. Like if you want to just like do that, because like I'm not seeing anyone, so I'd rather just like have sex than just not. I was like, okay, fine. I was like, that's
doesn't want to be celibate.
It was like yeah. It was definitely Clearly, it wasn't Michelle that I was talking to, because she didn't say she wanted to be celibate.
Do you think? And I mean, maybe even not specifically for that situation, but like, do you think that when somebody comes back like that and says like, oh, well, like I'm actually fine with casual sex, especially if it's a chick, do you think that they mean it? Do you think that they can actually go from those two extremes?
Probably not.
Wait.
I feel like there may be a little bit of I don't know. I kind of feel like they might be lying to themselves a little bit, which is bad. And I feel like I kind of need to like step away a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe they can. Maybe they're like, I don't know.
Well, the reason I ask is, I've definitely been in a situation where I had like a fuck buddy, and he did exactly that and came back and was like, yeah, this is like, I can tell you're starting to, catch feelings. Like, that's not where this is ever going to go. Period. Done. End of story. And I was like, no, like, definitely, you're totally wrong. You're off base. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And I was lying to everybody. Like, that was not true. And it kind of only like spirals from there, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's just that's friends with benefit is dangerous.
It can
it's like you're kind of playing with fire when you're when you're doing that, because it's a very, very fine line to walk. And I think that what's I think funny about it is that friends with benefits seems like such a like juvenile and kind of like young collegey thing, but like to make it work as an adult, you actually have to be very mature and upfront. And it's like you said, there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be.
Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
It's fine.
No, go ahead.
It's fine. My internet's cutting in and out again. I feel like you have to be mature, self-aware, and communicative and transparent, right? Like, because if you're not self-aware, or even if you're a very self-aware person, you might get into your head and like be like, oh yeah, this is fine. I don't have feelings for them. But yeah, you kind of have to like walk that line and realize when you do start to catch feelings that you can express that, and they may or may not feel the same. Who knows? Rom-com. But you need to be okay with also just like walking away from that situation, because like you said, if you lie to yourself and you're like, oh, I have feelings for them, but we're just hooking up, I'm fine with that. You're probably not. Like it doesn't work to have one person be casual. Yeah, it is not. We are not fine. We are not okay. We are unwell.
Well, also not just self-aware, you have to be aware of like the other people too. Like you have to be pretty perceptive to what's going on around you. And even if someone says things, you can't just take it at face value. You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I'm not catching feelings. Definitely not. They're like, but you want to come over and cuddle? You're like, kind of seems like you're catching feelings. But.
Ooh, that verbiage too. There was a guy that was like a quote unquote, friends with benefits. And that's what he would say was like, oh, like, let's cuddle. And that, like, I don't think he fully was aware of what that does, especially in a female mind. Or he was, and he was being a dick. Like, I don't know, but I think you bring up a good point too about just like friends with benefits seems collegiate, but you do have to be like, I think the friends with benefit situations I had when I was younger compared to the ones I've had as like, I guess more adult, as Michelle says, they've been vastly different.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel.
Just go, Michelle. Go.
Just do it. Just go for it. Shoot your shot.
Hey, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it before we tap it, because if my internet goes in and out any more time, I'm gonna throw my fucking computer on the wall.
I was gonna say, does Haydon have any final words for us?
Yeah, just wrap it before you tap it, bro. That's all you gotta know.
There you go. All right. Well,
I concur.
If anybody wants to slide in, Haydon, can they?
Yeah, feel free to.
Well, thank you again.
Just know.
Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I'm bugging. You can find us at Swipe and the City. Thank you, Haydon. Let's wrap this before we tap it.
And wrap it.
Goodbye.